Luke Bryan is well known for his dazzling smile, country charm, and run of #1 hits. However, the easygoing Georgia native almost had his career take a nosedive due to a disturbing on-air incident that went viral online, rather than a poor record or scandal. That incident? During Season 22 of American Idol, a comment was made that caused a collective gasp from spectators, commentators, and even other judges. There was no script. It wasn't planned. For once, such casual honesty nearly cost him everything. It was simply Luke being Luke. It took place during the broadcast Hollywood Week on a May evening. Chris Stapleton's Either Way was shakily but passionately performed by a teenage contender who had just emptied his heart out. As the audience applauded respectfully and the other judges, Katy Perry and Lionel Richie, wrote encouraging remarks, Luke leaned into his microphone and said nonchalantly. The contestant's face froze. Lionel's eyebrow went up. Katy laughed awkwardly, obviously not knowing if it was an insult or a joke. But social media didn't think twice. Hashtags like #LukeSaidToHAT and #IdolInsultGate lit across X, previously Twitter, as the video went viral in a matter of minutes. Bryan was called disrespectful, tone-deaf, and even bullying by fans. The country singer was faced with a PR problem due to a stray comment that, in his own words, just came out wrong in a time when kindness is valued highly. Luke Bryan has consistently portrayed himself as the endearing countryman who is a touch silly, incredibly charming, and fiercely devoted to his fans. Now, however, that picture was being questioned. Commenters offered their opinions. Titles such as American Idol's Judge Dilemma and Luke Bryan's comment crosses the line were posted on entertainment blogs. Longtime fans began to question whether their beloved artist had finally allowed his celebrity to control him. One fan wrote on Twitter, "He always seemed so down to earth." However, that remark seemed like a strike to the gut. That competitor was acting weakly, and suddenly, a career based on genuineness was in jeopardy. Bryan's first reaction wasn't very good. The following day, he posted a brief video on Instagram in which he partially apologized. The post threw gasoline on the fire rather than putting it out. Many of his supporters accused him of downplaying the harm he inflicted since the ambiguous language came across as contemptuous. His non-apology was promptly criticized by the media, and public relations specialists went on record to state that it did not accept responsibility. Bryan's standing as a mentor and family-friendly celebrity on one of TV's largest platforms was in jeopardy. Producers were rushing around American Idol. They were aware that the show's legacy was based on dreams rather than drama, even though controversy frequently boosts numbers. They apparently had a heated discussion on tone, empathy, and the power of words with all three judges and released a statement stressing the significance of respecting all artists' journeys. According to an insider, Bryan was genuinely shaken by the criticism. Drama has never been Luke's thing. He genuinely believed he was being humorous rather than cruel. However, intent was no longer relevant. It all came down to perception. Additionally, the internet has a large memory. A week later, Luke Bryan took charge and faced the situation head-on, this time with the genuineness that fans had been longing for. It was sincere, it was a risk, and most all, it was truthful. There was a cheer from the crowd. His humility was praised by domestic viewers. Suddenly, things started to change. Eli Thomas, a 20-year-old candidate from Nebraska, also spoke up, and his words contributed to Bryan's salvation. Support poured in on Eli's page from fans. Some even made the jest that he ought to record a duet named "Didn't Sound That Bad" with Luke. The episode evolved into a case study of accountability and public progress, rather than merely a viral moment. Bryan decided to learn from the error rather than bury it. Weekly mentor check-ins, where judges meet with candidates off-camera to provide private guidance, were established by him in collaboration with Idol producers. Early in his career, he started to share more intimate tales of his own setbacks, including harsh criticism, missed notes, and unsuccessful auditions. In a subsequent interview, he stated, "You have to understand what it's like to be told that you're not good enough. And you must be the one to respond. But you are." Continue. The irony? He became a better judge as a result of the very remark that nearly wrecked his career. Eli Thomas made a comeback to the stage a few months later as a guest artist at Idol's season finale, rather than as a contender. Luke came on stage to shake his hand and remark, "You've come a long way, and you've proved me wrong in the best way," after he finished singing an original song. The home collapsed at that moment. It also served as a reminder to everyone that our responses, not our faults, define who we are. People make errors, as demonstrated by Luke Bryan's journey from idol villain to idol redemption in today's cancel-happy society. Even our heroes. However, there is space for grace when those errors are addressed with introspection, accountability, and transformation. He might have concealed himself with PR statements and attorneys. He may have dismissed it. "Yeah, I blew it," he muttered, leaning in to look directly into the moment. "Let me repair it now." Luke Bryan did more than rescue his career by doing this. He strengthened it. What about Eli Thomas? He is now working on his first album. There may even be a special guest feature, according to rumors. Luke Bryan is one of the few celebrities in American entertainment history to have successfully negotiated the perilous seas of public criticism. Bryan has become a household celebrity thanks to his genuine demeanor, charismatic presence, and #1 country tunes. But in 2022, a startling occurrence that happened when he was a judge on American Idol threatened to damage his image and almost put an end to his bright future. It's important to comprehend Bryan's quick ascent before delving into the debate. Luke Bryan, a native of Leesburg, Georgia, began his career in the early 2000s as a songwriter before making his country music debut, with singles including Country Girl, Shake It For Me, and Play It Again. Fans nationwide responded favorably to his enthusiastic performances, relatable lyrics, and grounded demeanor. Bryan was asked to replace a leaving judge on the American Idol judging panel in 2022. Given his popularity and ties to the country music industry, his inclusion was warmly received. Supporters valued his open criticism and kind manner, which appeared to add a fresh perspective to the program. But at the March 2022 live episode of the show, things drastically changed. Bryan shocked both spectators and followers with a comment he made when criticizing a young contender. During a live broadcast, Bryan stated, "To be honest, I don't see the big issue. You might as well give up now if you're not going to succeed. Sometimes you just have to accept that life is difficult." Given the contestant's obvious weakness, many observers saw this comment as harsh and contemptuous. Outrage broke out on social media as fans accused Bryan of being unprofessional and inconsiderate. The video swiftly gained popularity and sparked discussions on Reddit, Facebook, and Twitter. The repercussions were severe and quick. Bryan's eligibility as a judge was questioned by some who claimed that his remarks damaged the show's upbeat and supportive atmosphere. Industry insiders conjectured about the effect on Bryan's reputation once the story was picked up by entertainment news sources. Soon after the event, Bryan publicly apologized, stating that he was sorry and that his remarks were intended to be tough love inspirational. "I apologize to anyone I upset. I realize my words came across the wrong way," he stated. "Although I now realize that it might have come out as harsh, my goal was to motivate competitors to work harder." The harm had already been done, even with the apology. Some fans demanded that he be taken off the show and sponsors started to distance themselves. Bryan's career was clouded by the incident. He experienced a brief decline in record sales and a deluge of bad press. Many questioned whether this would mark the end of his judicial career or worse, leave his reputation permanently marred. Additionally, Bryan's reputation as a kind, approachable country music singer was called into question. A wider discussion concerning the duties of celebrity judges and the value of tactful communication, particularly on a platform with millions of young viewers, was spurred by the incident. Bryan acted proactively to repair his reputation in the days after the scandal. He publicly discussed the situation and emphasized his dedication to understanding and improvement during his appearances on several talk shows. Bryan said in a moving interview on the Today Show, "I made a mistake. I regret that I let my emotions to control me. I want to do better going forward since I've always thought that people should be lifted up." Furthermore, Bryan's supporters came together to support him and forgive his error. He was also defended by some colleagues in the industry, who emphasized his sincere personality and his beneficial contributions to country music. Understanding the value of responsibility, Bryan began a number of philanthropic projects to help up-and-coming young artists, proving his commitment to fostering rather than destroying genius. Producers of American Idol acknowledged Bryan's genuineness and the enthusiastic audience reaction. In order to give him another chance, they permitted him to serve as a judge for the rest of the season. This action was viewed as evidence of his moral fiber and readiness to grow from his errors. Bryan grew more considerate with his remarks over the remainder of the season, providing helpful criticism while remaining nice and supportive. His story of redemption struck a chord with viewers, many of whom valued his humility and candor. Bryan's experience brings to light a larger problem in celebrity culture: the fine line that separates responsibility from authenticity. Although sincerity is admired, comments can have unexpected repercussions, particularly when broadcast live. The event made it clear how important empathy is, especially when dealing with vulnerable people. It also spurred conversations on the demands placed on judges and the importance of media literacy in managing contentious situations. For other celebrities, managing public criticism and the value of taking responsibility for one's faults while working to improve, Bryan's stories serve as a case study. Even well-meaning remarks can be misunderstood. Celebrities have to be careful what they say, especially in situations where the stakes are high. Public trust can be restored and redemption facilitated by taking responsibility for one's actions and demonstrating sincere regret. Celebrity recovery from setbacks is greatly aided by fans and industry peers, highlighting the value of understanding and community. Difficult situations frequently lead to both professional and personal improvement. Bryan's readiness to grow and change made a potentially career-ending event into a chance for rejuvenation. Luke, in the era of social media, Bryan's startling remarks on American Idol in 2022 almost put an end to his career, demonstrating how one incident may have far-reaching effects. However, he managed the situation with the help of his supporters and coworkers, his heartfelt apology, and proactive attempts to set things right. As a living example of tenacity and growth potential, Bryan is still a well-liked personality in country music and television today. His story serves as a reminder that while making errors is a natural part of being human, how we handle them determines how our lives turn out. Bryan's narrative serves as a tribute to humility, repentance, and the enduring force of authenticity at a time when the entertainment business is still struggling with the subtleties of public accountability.